What's going on? We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Happy Monday, y'all. Oh, it's been a Monday. Monday is Monday-ing. Come on in, guys. I hope you had a fabulous weekend. Shout out to the DMV that came out to our sold-out show at Union Stage over the weekend. Friday, to be exact. We had a really great time. Be sure to check out our social media for all the details. I will be doing a special podcast episode talking all about it like I did New York. We will also probably share a little bit of a clip. We'll play like a little bit of a clip from it. You know, be sure to follow us on our podcast, Kempire, so that you can hear it. I will be releasing some audio from the New York City sold out show on the podcast this week. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't subscribed already. Sidebar, can you guys hear me loud and clear? Loud and clear? All right, just making sure. Anyways, shout out to everyone that's already in the chat for our Real Housewives of Potomac recap. I was in the Potomac area. I even went through Georgetown. And that's not shade to Georgetown. It's just like I was going through Georgetown and thinking to myself, oh, is this where Juan is at with the woman that looks like Karen Huger? I don't think so. I just don't see Juan in Georgetown holding hands with some random in Georgetown. It didn't even seem like a town that Juan would hang out. So I was just sort of like, I don't know. But shout out to the DMV proper. We will be talking about that. It's something about the DMV, and you guys, when it comes to this particular area, that is what this area is. Y'all really get into a battle over that. So you know I had to make a running joke about that during our Friday show. I was like, everybody Baltimore is not part of the DMV? No, I already know. I know it's not. Anyways, guys, yes, happy President's Day. Let's get into our recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Let's go. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to everyone in the chat. All right, let's do this. Hold on, y'all.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, don't forget you can hear our live recaps and special episodes like the podcast that we will be doing about our DC show on the Kempire podcast. While you're there, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. See, look, Paul's starting up with the mess. He says Baltimore is a part of the DMV. Well, we did a consensus at my DC show, and everyone said, no, I'm not getting into these battles with y'all. In the DMV, y'all really like to fight over what's DMV and what's not. I'm not getting into it. I made that a rule at the DC show, but I kept on bringing it up because I'm a troublemaker. But I'm not getting into it, Paul. We're not getting into it. Happy birthday, Andrea. Happy belated birthday. 62 where? 62 where? Anyone else celebrating a birthday? Joe, thank you so much for coming out to the New York City show and the DC show. Thank you so much for the super chat. Joe says, love the fun and philosophically deep discussions. Yes, come on now. We're about to have a deep discussion today about this whole shrine situation again. Yet again. Oh, look, Miss Dory says, no, it's not. Oh my gosh, stop it, y'all. Stop. We're not arguing about what's a part of the DMV. We have done this for years at this point. At this point, I do not have anything in this fight, okay? I do not have anything in this fight. But, Y'all fight amongst yourselves, all right? Fight amongst yourselves. All right, Real Housewives of Potomac. We had last week off because we had the Super Bowl, and did you miss it? I was grateful for a week off because it hasn't been a great season. It hasn't been a great season. Sidebar. Dr. Jackie and Karen Huger were guests on Watch What Happens Live last night. Oh, a 60 where? It's Karen. Karen was showing leg. Karen's short little, like, I don't know if I necessarily loved the look, but she carried the look. Karen looked good. I was like, 60 where? She looked good. Whatever she's doing, whatever refresh she's doing, it's working. And Dr. Jackie looked like Dr. Jackie, but Dr. Jackie looks great for her age too. She's 60-something too. Come on now. They look great, no matter how you feel about anyone in particular. We'll talk about Married to Medicine this evening. 5:30 p.m. Eastern, we'll be recapping Married to Medicine. So it's the DMV, Department of Motor Vehicles? No, we're not talking about that. Exact coast of DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. Well, certain parts of Maryland and certain parts of Virginia. That's what I've learned, but we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We are not doing this. I'm going to set the rule today. And if you call in, do not bring up DMV. We're not talking about it. I will drop and block you. Anyways, so this latest episode, I didn't really miss Potomac, to be honest with you, because I don't know what we have to look forward to. And everyone has been asking, when are they filming the reunion? Well, I heard from our little birdies in the DC area next week. Yeah, next week. That's what I hear. All right. So the reunion is coming. I'm sure Andy probably this week will be asking for your questions. Let me know, because you know he has me blocked. I hope y'all know that doesn't bother me. This morning, I dropped a new episode of the podcast where I expanded on this Portia Gobadia and Simon Gobadia situation. So be sure to check that out. I added some updates to that story on the podcast. Okay. So back to this. So I didn't really miss Potomac, but now that it's back, I don't know. How would you rate this week's episode? Based off the live chat on YouTube, you guys are rating it between 4 and 6 with 51% of the vote. All right. Damn, y'all still going in on DMV. I'm gonna ignore. So at the top of this episode, Mia is talking about her issues with Karen. First, she's talking with Gordon, and she rehashes what went down between her and Karen, but she does not tell Gordon about what Karen said about a rapper. First of all, Mia has said that it wasn't a rapper. We already know. You probably saw over the weekend she posted this picture and this love note to her radio personality boyfriend. Here's the thing. Like, I can appreciate Mia's honesty, but when I watch this episode and Mia sort of glorifying being the other woman, glorifying being the girl that was on those golf trips, I'm just sort of like, wait, have we lost our morals on some level? Like, I'm not, look, I appreciate her honesty, but at the same time, I'm like, you're trash in so many different ways. Like, you slept with Gordon knowing that he was married. You were laying it low and spreading it wide on a beach. And I don't know when this relationship with the radio personality started, but you could already tell during the season, or particularly this episode, that she's already checked out of her relationship with Gordon. And maybe Gordon was okay with that because you know what Gordon said the previous episode, and they rehashed it again this week when talking about Ashley. He was like, we can have an arrangement. So Gordon wasn't ready to just leave Mia. He was not ready to leave Mia. Gordon, I don't know how low your self-esteem is, or if you wanted to just, because she's the mother of your 2 children, you didn't want to go get another young thing. Please understand, you could, especially because you've been on Real Housewives, the Bravo universe, you know how many young things, no, look, not me encouraging the young things, but you get what I'm saying? Like, if you wanted to have another young thing, or maybe because you're worried because now you don't have the money that you had when you met Mia. Well, according to Mia, based off the preview for next week, he didn't have money when she met him. I highly doubt that. I highly doubt Gordon didn't have any money. And if we know Gordon's history, he's had money. He's had businesses and things like that before meeting Mia. All right? She said, he didn't have any money based on the preview for next week. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And Gordon's a good-looking man, but he ain't that good-looking for her to be like, oh, I'm going to, cheat with you. We knew exactly why Mia was with Gordon. She was with Gordon because of his money. period. And now that he doesn't have money, she's leaving him. The door is closed. She's leaving him. And she's moving on to someone else. You think that she's moved on for the love of it? I personally could not date someone like Mia because for me, her morals, her integrity are not intact. Because right now she could be like, oh, I'm in love with you, but why is she in love with you? Only probably for superficial reasons. So she didn't tell Gordon about the trick comment and why Karen called her a trick. So Ashley comes over, and Ashley, this is all I have to say because I understand why Ashley got into the relationship that she did with Gullum. I completely, sidebar, we already talked about 2 weeks ago how for Black History Month, congratulations to Candace. She won her lawsuit with a lawsuit that was brought against her by Gullum. Congratulations. Just in case we forgot, it's still Black History Month. It's still Black History Month. So Ashley says that she's not ready to divorce Michael, but she explains why. She explains why. Do I believe that 100%? I do believe the reason why she even got into a relationship with Michael was because of how she grew up with her mom. She talks about how, being put out on the street, not having anything, and she doesn't want her children to have those experiences. Sidebar, when they flash back to the photo of Ashley as a kid, I was like, look at Dylan. Look at him. They have her entire face, those kids. All right? Thank God, right? Just saying. But Ashley, she talks about that, and I kind of understand where she's coming from based off of her history and how she grew up with her mom. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. But her body language was saying something else. Like, I'm fooling you guys. Because she says that she plans to probably be divorced or sign the paperwork by the end of the year. This was filmed last year, y'all. We are now almost in the third month of 2024. If we are still talking about her signing these divorce papers at the end of the year, I'm so over Ashley this year. I'm over a lot of these folks in this cast, to be honest with you. So the group is reacting to Robin announcing during, Nneka's party from the previous week's episode, the last episode. Oh, we're going to go to the Dominican Republic. Let me take a sip from my coldest water bottle. They're going to go to Dominican Republic, and of course they ask, is everyone invited, including Wendy, Dr. Wendy Acefo? And Robin says, yes, everyone's invited. Robin's hosting the party. Okay, let's break the fourth wall because I guess some people still believe that these housewives are actually the ones plotting and planning these trips. They're not. Their personal events, yes, they do. I think they get a little bit of a budget from production, but that's it. But these trips are planned by production. Robin's not hosting this. She's just been chosen this year to host it because she's got nothing else going on. Notice we have nothing else to talk to Robin about. What else is Robin talking about this season? I'll wait. But Robin says that she wants this trip just to be fun. It's not about healing any relationships. She just, of course, Candace refers to Robin's dry ass. I was like, oh, God. Well, they're not in a good place. They try to have a conversation. They try to be good, and they're no longer good. So Candace is coming for Robin any chance she gets. Okay. All right. Karen says that Robin is just happy not to discuss any healing or relationships because of the signed notes to the hotel, with Juan Dixon. It was really interesting driving around D.C. and just seeing, of course, our national monuments, the White House, all that. That was cool. D.C. is really beautiful and very clean. I like D.C. I was like, all right, D.C., I see you. Okay. But also, the park where Sherman, where the incident with Sherman, Gizelle's ex, I drove through that park. Just seeing Real Housewives history in the making. Okay. So, moving on. Wendy and Nneka sit down to have a conversation. As you know, they planned this conversation from Dr. Wendy Acefo's Happy Eddie event, and Wendy and Nneka finally sit down for this conversation. Here's the thing. And look, we had a caller call in like 2 weeks ago, explain how even the caller did not want to talk about the depths of the conversation that's happening when it comes to shrines, voodoo, witchcraft. Like, she was like, I don't want to even get into the depths of having this conversation. But we do see Dr. Wendy Acefo basically, without saying everything on the depth of what this means within Nigerian culture, I was like, oh, I think we're starting to see. I think we're starting to get an inkling because originally I said, Dr. Wendy, if you don't just move forward, don't be a Gizelle in the situation, just move forward. And I still think that Dr. Wendy could have moved forward in a different way. I didn't love the fact that as soon as they said, first, as soon as Dr. Wendy came in, it felt very icy. And I get it. She talked about your mama. She did it. I'm not expecting you to be open and incredibly welcoming. But you could have been like, hi, how you doing? You could have said hello when you came in. All you did, you sort of kind of came in, sat down, and then it was just like, it was awkward. It was awkward. But you could see Nneka was trying. And I've said that. Go check the last recap. We were saying Nneka seems like she is trying. However, Nneka, I didn't like the fact that you started to rehash what was said before. You already know how taboo it is to talk about the things that you're talking about. I hate the fact that you wanted to rehash it. That's not going to help you guys move forward. There's never going to be a place where you guys can agree about the situation. So you're better off just agreeing to disagree and just move forward for the sake of this reality show that you're filming. Instead of bringing up the voodoo and the mom being a witch and things like that, what you could have done this season was, oh, Wendy does not want me to be on the show. She wants to be the only, Nigerian person. You didn't have to bring in these very taboo topics because you said it yourself, Nneka. The fact that Wendy's mom may have done this and what you're accusing her of affects your lineage. Dr. Wendy says the fact that you're saying this affects my lineage. It affects both your lineage. So we need to stop talking about it. And I hate the fact that Nneka even brought it to the show. Nneka's saying that, everybody in Nigeria, she never finished her sentence, but I'm going to finish it for her. She's probably saying that everyone in Nigeria is talking about the situation, but the Nigerian massive, has been over here telling us that this is not looking good for Nneka, the fact that Nneka even brought it up. Does it make it right if this is what really happened? No. But if you're saying this affects your lineage, why are you bringing it up on television when you already know within the community how taboo it is? And when they flash back to Nneka's conversation with Ashley, I wish she would have just shut that down. She'd be like, Ashley, do not go there. That in our community, stuff like that, it's very serious. I wish you would have said that. But I think you just wanted to get in with the group because Wendy wasn't your way in. And did Wendy want to be the only Nigerian on the show? Maybe. Look, we've said it's a possibility. Or maybe she didn't like the way that you were trying to get into the group. Because we really don't know. We know some of these housewives are so thirsty to get on the show. They're talking to this one, talking to that one. You know what I mean? So who knows how she was trying to get into the group. And maybe Dr. Wendy didn't like it. She was just like, what is she doing? Maybe. Who knows? But at this point, it's leaned into this world within the Nigerian community that is so taboo that they can't explain it because of how taboo it is. So it makes all of us that don't know and that are unfamiliar with it go like, what is going on? It has people mad at Nneka. It even has people mad at Dr. Wendy because they're like, Dr. Wendy, what you're saying doesn't make sense. But what did make sense to me when Dr. Wendy did talk about the lineage and how this affects her lineage, and then Nneka saying how this affects her lineage, I just hate the fact that as soon as they started this sit down, they went back to that place instead of saying, you know what? We are going to have to agree to disagree. Where can we find at least civility within this relationship? Well, Dr. Wendy says, you're talking about my mom, you're talking about my sister. What did I do to you? And when she said that, I was like, well, that's a point. That's a point. What did Dr. Wendy, nothing, Nneka, you have said was something that Dr. Wendy did to you specifically. And Nneka says, well, she knows they were doing it on her behalf. What did Wendy do to you? But I will say this. I feel like both of them are wrong in some shape or form. I do see Nneka trying to move forward. However, I also understand why it's hard for Dr. Wendy. Here I go twerking on the fence. Look, if you're new here, this is what we do. This is what we do. But I can see why it may be harder because of the ramifications of these types of situations. And the fact that she's repeating it again during the sit down. If it was me, I would have been like this to Dr. Wendy when she came in. Even though Dr. Wendy was standoffish and she seemed cold, I would have been like, I don't want to rehash what was said. I want to apologize. And Nneka did. In Nneka's defense, she did apologize for calling Wendy the B word and for calling her mom a witch. She did apologize for that. But she didn't deny that her mom and sister threatened her. And when Dr. Wendy decided the conversation wasn't going anywhere, and she's like, you don't want peace, she gets up and she leaves. Nneka starts to get emotional, and she's crying to the producer, saying that she refuses to acknowledge that her family bullied me. Here's the thing, though. How much does Dr. Wendy actually know what was said? She wasn't there. She could know, but maybe she doesn't know. We don't control our family either, especially Dr. Wendy's mother. We don't control her. Look, we don't. Do I believe that things were said that might have been inappropriate? Yeah. Yeah. We've met Dr. Wendy Asefo's mom. We know she probably said all the things, okay? Did it have to do with shrines or something like that? I don't know. But apparently we don't need to touch it. Look, we don't need to touch it. We don't need to touch it. I don't want to touch it. That's what she said. Woo, let's lighten the mood. You know, I put incense and sage and all kinds of stuff once I'm done with this conversation. I got some black tourmaline right here. Black tourmaline is great for protection. All right. I haven't showed y'all my crystals in a long time. Some labradorite. Labradorite is probably like one of my favorite crystals. And some pyrite over here. And I got some hematite in my pocket. I ain't playing with y'all. And all this conversation about shrines and witchcraft and all kinds of stuff. All right. So that was the conversation. I didn't expect their conversation to immediately happen in the first part of the episode. Guys, if you're just joining us, we are recapping this week's latest episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac. We have such a big cast. Everyone has been asking, when are we getting the reunion? I heard the reunion's filming next week. So don't be surprised if Andy, and you guys can go check his account now and you let me know because I'm blocked. All right. I'm sure he'll be announcing, asking you guys for questions for the Real Housewives of Potomac reunion. But you know what I've been saying? I've said this at the DC show, and I said this at the New York City show. Production, Bravo, NBCU, it's not too late to have this conversation on colorism. It's not too late to have this conversation on the xenophobia that people have been bringing up this season. It's not too late. All right? Just saying. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Joe, thank you so much for another super chat. Joe says, Robin, girl, you can't afford this DR trip. We know she can't. We know. We pretend. She's hosting it this year, though. Let's see how well she hosts. Okay. Net, thank you so much for the super chat. Net says, I want to know, did they see Curtis? Why was I thinking that, Net? Net says, I want to know, did they see Curtis, Dr. Jackie's husband, while on their trip? But you heard what they were saying, right? Okay, well, we will get there. Because they were saying things about men that go to DR. Shout out to the DR. Look, to the DR. Candace and Chris. Okay. When Candace and Chris argue, I get so uncomfortable. Anyone else? The way that they argue, it just feels so... Look, we've seen worse from them. This wasn't one of their worst arguments. But when they argue, I always just feel like, not secondhand embarrassment, just awkward, like... And now they're talking about, possibly having children, but there was a lump that was found, but they're saying that it's not cancerous, but the cancer runs in her family, so she's nervous. And she's also nervous about even starting any sort of like IVF treatments, because she's like, what if that does something to the growth? Well, a lot of you said she should definitely go get a second opinion. I wonder if she did end up getting a second opinion and, what they said. All right. So she's sitting there opening up her new Dior bag, and Chris is just like, they're arguing over her buying something. And she's like, I needed retail therapy. Okay, Candace. It was a cute bag. Well, now the issue that she had with Chris always being away and always working, Chris is having that issue with her. Chris is at home working, being a content creator. Well, content creation. Look, I was creating content in DC. Couldn't he travel with her? Wouldn't it be nice to have? Well, I guess here's the difference. His content creation is a little different because he has to be in a kitchen, so that's a little different. So, Chris, but Chris is upset because she's always working as well. Well, someone's got to pay the bills. You know, people are thinking it because everyone's saying, well, like, what is Chris doing for work now? My thing is, at the end of the day, if Candace is okay with it, I'm not gonna argue. I know a few women that are making the money in their relationship and their husbands aren't. Look, if it was vice versa, people wouldn't say anything. So I'm like, go ahead. I mean, he cooks, so I'm sure every day when she comes home, she's coming to a well-cooked meal. Come, I wish I had that. I have a long day. I have Married to Medicine at 5:30 with you guys. By the time I'm done with that, you think I really want to get into the kitchen and cook a meal? No. If I had a husband that could cook, look, cook something up. And if I was the main person carrying the financial weight, I'd be like, all right, homeboy cooks. Homeboy cooks. And I've heard, look, even black women have said that Chris cooks very good. And you know, if a black woman thinks you could cook good, you seasoning that meat. Anyways. So they're talking about the possibility to have children. They're also talking about the growth. I'm sure we'll get another update in regards to that at the reunion. All right. Gizelle, the only thing saving Gizelle this season is her storyline with her children. We've all said it. That's probably the only redeemable thing about watching Gizelle on the Real Housewives of Potomac. So Grace's graduation happens. And of course, Gizelle, this is the one time that we actually see Gizelle get emotional or show real emotion. And that's with her daughters. I didn't realize that the twins are graduating the following year. So I'm sure that will be her storyline for next season. Look, I enjoy Gizelle's family scenes more than anything else that Gizelle does. I really do. And Pastor Jamal, were your ears switching this weekend? We were talking about you, not at the show, but just a conversation with some of the folks that I was talking to in DC. We were talking about Pastor Jamal because, you know, some of y'all have been parishioners of his church when he was in the DMV. Oh wait, no, he wasn't. Was he not in the? I don't know. We're not getting to the DMV cover. Wherever in that area, okay? Wherever in that area. Anyways. So he was there, of course, you know, celebrating and making a speech and things like that. Gizelle's now late father. I didn't remember whether or not he had passed away before her graduation. Obviously, it was after Grace's graduation. So seeing him, and you could see that Gizelle got emotional when everyone was making speeches, and she was just so happy to see the family together. And mind you, that probably was like the last time that they all got together before her father passed away. So I was like, all right, this was a sweet little scene. We got it. All right, we'll move on. It was sweet. It was sweet. So Robin, Nneka, and Mia go shopping for DR. Mia talks about how Karen is different when she's around certain people in the group, specifically the last time around Wendy. I don't get the issues between Mia and Karen. Like, where did this issue come from? Because she invited you last minute to Surrey? I didn't understand. See, Amanda, don't start trouble with Amanda. Amanda says Pastor Jamal was in Baltimore, and I visited his church. See, I didn't want to get into the conversation. I was like, wait, I think he was in Baltimore. He was not part of the DMV. Anyways, we're not doing that. We're not doing that today. We're not doing it today. Y'all get really in your feelings about this stuff. Anyways, so Nneka tells them about her conversation with Wendy, and Robin says the most interesting thing. She says that Wendy doesn't want to move on with Nneka. The same way that you don't want to move on with Dr. Wendy Asefo, the same way that you don't want to move on with Candace Dillard Bassett. Like, these people are so hypocritical. So hypocritical. And so petty, too, at the same time. Because once we get to DR, we'll see how petty Robin can be. So Robin tells Nneka, like, oh, Wendy she just doesn't want to move on with you. Yeah, the same way you don't want to move on with Candace or Wendy for the sake of the show. You can even see how Dr. Wendy she's ready to have a good time during this trip. And Robin seemed a little taken aback when they were in the bus, and she's like, "Everyone, this is not about rehashing anything. It's about having a good time." And Dr. Wendy's like, "Woohoo!" And she's just like, "Oh." So you could see that she's trying to have a good time, and you could see when Dr. Wendy sort of switches, because you could see that Robin is not willing to do that when she does the room assignments. But before we get to that, let's talk about Karen and Ray. So look, there's been all kinds of speculations on whether or not Karen and Ray have some sort of open relationship, whatever. However, she talks about how the resort that they're going to be staying at is a resort that Ray has stayed at multiple times. He goes to DR every single year. And of course, immediately I'm thinking, oh, is this why Curtis goes to DR as well? And then they lean into the conversation that, men that go to DR, they can get a little something something in DR. And then Karen tells a story about one time when they were early in their relationship and he was in DR. She called his room and a woman picked up. Sidebar, Gizelle was just like, oh, Ray pulled the okie doke on Karen. You of all people, Gizelle, talking about a man pulling an okie doke on you early in their marriage? Pastor Holy Whore? Pastor Jamal Bryant, who has multiple babies while you guys were married to each other? If anyone pulled the ultimate okie doke on anyone, it was Pastor Holy Whore on you, Gizelle. But I get it. Anytime that she can take a dig at Karen, she does. Okay, some of you are like, that's your thing. Yeah, here's the thing. That could be their thing, but at least make it make sense. At least let it be like, oh, boom, she got you. It's never like that, because then we're always like, well, Gizelle, girl, if anyone got okie doked, it was you. Majorly. I'm just saying. Look, I'm just saying. So Karen, and I found that because Karen knows that these women are going to try and make that into something else. So the fact that she's even still willing to share it, I'm like, that Karen understands the assignment of playing the game. She's okay with looking like, contradictory. She's okay looking silly. She's okay even looking like, oh, something's fishy with the marriage. She's okay with it. I know some people think that she's just lying, or she's just, she doesn't keep up with her lies. No, I think it's some of that, but I also think it's some of, I'm just gonna go with it. This is my shtick. I'm gonna go with that. Anyways, so the fact that Karen shares this, I'm like, oh, okay. The woman was the cleaning lady. The cleaning lady picked up the phone, and then Mia says, I used to be the girl that went on these girls' trips, on these golf trips, insinuating that she was the other woman going on these golf trips with married men. She also insinuates that, they should mind her business. Look, I want to interpret what she said because it didn't make complete sense to me. I'm sure some of you were confused when Mia was talking about what she was going to be doing during the trip. I basically got that Mia was saying she's going to have a good time on this trip. And when I say a good time, meaning it could be with someone else. That's the way I got it. But Anyways, guys, if you're just joining us, this is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Don't forget, Philly, March 7th. March 7th is right around the corner. Don't forget, there's only 10 more days left to February. Happy Black History Month and happy President's Day. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for Philly at City Winery, be sure to check out the description for more details on getting your tickets. Shout out to everyone that's in the Philly area. I'll be there March 7th. I can't wait to have some of this conversation with you. And look, every show is different. Our DC show was very different than our New York City show. Our DC show, we talked a lot more hot topics than we did, Real Housewives or, reality television, things like that. And it was a lot of sexy talk too. It's Kempire After Dark. So every show is going to be different. You guys help guide where we go. All right. So stay tuned for our March 7th Philly show. So more information on that. And Boston, Atlanta, tickets are now available for City Winery in those locations. More information is available in the description. All right. Okay. See, Joe says that's how Mia wanted it to be interpreted. See? Ali, thank you so much for the super chat. Ali says the real beef is between Lebe and Wendy's sister, Ivy. They had the falling out. Nneka and Wendy were dragged into it, with Nneka being on the phone during one of their fights. Ivy, is that you? I mean, based on what transpired in this conversation between Nneka and Wendy in this episode, Wendy was saying, "What did I do to you? What did I do? What did I specifically do to you for you to have this energy?" All right. Cinderella says that resort is the most top and exclusive from the DR. Is it? Oh, I mean, it looked nice. The rooms didn't look that great, though, to be honest with you. But okay, all right. I've never been to DR. All right. The Boston show is on May 30th. I believe that's a Thursday. I think that's a Thursday. I can't recall. Go check out the link for more information, guys. And sidebar, y'all. I don't work for Ticketmaster. I can't help you if you in regards to refunds and things like that. There's a reason why they have their own ticket services for that. So any issues with tickets, please go there. I'm already dealing with a lot. Please do not fill my inbox with personal issues and things like that, because again, I'm not Ticketmaster. All right? And it's not even through Ticketmaster, but you get what I'm saying. All right? All right. Moving on. I'm just glad that for Real Housewives of Potomac, because a lot of people have been saying, like, we're not getting luxury. The last thing that we got of luxury on Potomac was Candace's Mother's Day event. So it was nice for us to kind of get out of the country and not go to, somewhere local. So we're out of the country, and here we are. Okay? So the room selection. So the women get to the resort, and Robin decides who is going to get what room. So they already take a view of the rooms and things like that. Robin's getting a suite, fine. All right, because she's hosting the trip. All right. So she says that some people are going to have single rooms, and then some people will have to share. So she selects Gizelle, of course, because Gizelle always has to share. She's going to get her own room. Okay. Then she says the other person, Nneka, because you're new, you get your own room. And then she says, Ashley, I know you've never had to share, but it's your birthday, so you get your own room. Of course, the people that she considers her friends. All right? And I wouldn't be surprised that Robin had a conversation with Mia beforehand. Just saying. Or they probably would have left Nneka out. Just saying. Let's be honest. Especially because Mia probably be the only one that would be able to share a room with, maybe Candace or Wendy. It's not going to happen with Nneka. So I wouldn't be surprised at some of that. So Karen is just like, and Robin says it's because Karen has never had to share a room. As she, look, I'm going to take away age. I'm going to take away, the fact that she's never had to share a room. Karen should not have to share a room this season just because she's been carrying the season on her back, begrudgingly to the fans, okay? I don't think Karen can carry a show on her own, but she's been the light energy. She's been the heartfelt, emotional energy, the throwback to Surrey energy. Like, she's been helping this season at least be somewhat bearable for me, because none of y'all are watching. You're just watching the recaps. But the fact that Karen's been carrying, not even carrying the season. The fact that Karen has sort of been the gateway between this very divided group should be enough reason for Karen to get her own room. Her own room. And she's grown. She's grown. She's the oldest woman in this group. Give her her own room. But you know what Karen did? Very much like a tourist. She went to talk to the concierge. All right. And was just like, I'd like to get my own room. I will pay. That's a tourist. That is big tourist energy. I'm not going to sit around and wait for you guys to give me anything. I'm going to go get it myself. All right. But the poor lady runs off because she's like, everyone was being loud. Poor Karen. And poor Karen's like, I ain't got a room. Her and Robin are getting into it. Ashley offers her room, and Karen's like, I need a view. And I don't blame her. I need a view too. Just saying. So Karen eventually is homeless. She doesn't have a room. So she's waiting. Ashley comes over, offers her room again to Karen. And then Karen's like, I'll take it. Which I thought was nice. Come on, give some respect to Karen. Give some respect to Karen. Just saying. DV says, hold on. Where'd the comment go? Where'd it go? Oh, Karen has been carrying this show at Robin's expense. Not really, because if you look at what I'm talking about in regards to what Karen has been doing this season, it's not just about Robin. Karen has been really the mediator between both groups. She's given us that what was it? That event where they talked about their essay situation. Like, she's been giving us a lot of stuff this season, and the comedy. In her confessionals with the ladies. Lord. Oh, someone says that Karen, roomless, not too. Oh, Rosanna, roomless, not toothless. Poor thing. But she eventually gets her way and she gets her own room. But it felt, look, we get it. It's Housewives. They play these games of rooms and things like that. And we knew that Robin was going to be Robin and be regular Robin and vindictive. And because she doesn't like Karen, she's like, you're going to have to share a room. Okay, whatever. But Karen ended up getting her own way. Look, she ended up getting her own way, and she got Ashley's room. And Ashley says, you owe me. All right. Look, all right, guys, if you're just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. All right. And if you haven't already, be sure to share the video and be sure to subscribe to the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. That's our backup channel, but that's also where we post visual versions of special episodes, a part of our Kempire podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right. Moving along. So Karen and Robin get into it multiple times. Whatever. Gizelle goes to check in on Kiarna. Because one thing we forgot to even mention was that Kiarna joined them on this trip. We haven't gotten a lot of Kiarna over the last couple of episodes, but Gizelle actually knows Kiarna through her hairstylist, Cal. So she goes to check on Kiarna because Kiarna told us early in the episode that she, her ulcer was acting up, so she wasn't feeling well. So Gizelle goes to check on her, and she's like, are you good, blah, blah, blah. And of course, Gizelle has to make a comment about how, none of these other girls went to go check up on her. Girl, first of all, I did find it weird when they made it seem, because Robin was to Wendy about, sharing a room. You could share a room with Kiarna. You notice how Wendy was like, I'm not sharing a room with Kiarna? I was like, that's interesting. I thought that was your friend. I know they sometimes bring these housewives in through a particular person, but I thought that was weird. I thought you guys were friends. I mean, obviously she has a friendship with Gizelle as well, Kiarna. Kiarna also got her first confessional look. Do I have a confessional look here? I want to show you guys her confessional look because I actually liked her confessional look. I was like, okay, Kiarna. I liked her look when Gizelle came to check up on her as well. I thought her look was really pretty. I was like, all right, Kiarna, giving us a look. But we haven't got much of Kiarna at all, though. So I don't know how to feel about Kiarna. I don't even think it's Kiarna's fault. I think it's more so about, how they're editing this season. As you know, Kiarna got into that fight with Deborah. So I'm wondering if that's part of the reason why they sort of edited her out this season. But we're getting a little bit of her in this episode. Kiarna also makes a comment to Wendy, and not to Wendy, to Gizelle. She's like, well, nobody else has checked in on me, so thank you. I was like, okay. I'm not sure if Gizelle was truly genuine in checking in on Kiarna. I think she was, because as I said to you before, Kiarna has a relationship with Cal, and Cal's one of Gizelle's best friends, along with her hairstylist. But I did find it interesting that Wendy did not want to share a room with Kiarna. Okay. I don't know. Did you guys? I found that to be interesting. I was like, I noticed that. But I also noticed that Wendy was not going to let Robin's decision on who she was giving individual rooms. She's like, I live in luxury every day. And she just kind of walked off. I like that she didn't want to make a big deal about not getting her own room. I was like, that's the energy I wish more of these housewives would do. That's like Beverly Hills energy. I'm not going to make a big deal about it. But I did notice that she said she was not going to share a room with Kiarna. I was like, oh. I thought it was interesting. Go back and watch that particular scene when Dr. Wendy says that. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Anyways, so Gizelle meets with Ashley and Robin to tell her about her plan. So she has a plan to crown Nneka the new Grande Dame of Potomac. And this is all coming because of the conversation that they had with Nneka. And apparently Karen says that Nneka lives in North Potomac. I'm guessing not Potomac proper. And of course, everyone's saying, well, here's the thing. She might not live in Potomac proper, but you do because your zip code is blah, blah, blah. However, at least you own your home. We're not going to get into this conversation. We already did this a couple of weeks ago in regards to owning versus renting and who owned and what and blah, 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 blah. We're not getting, they both live in Potomac. Who cares? But we already know that Gizelle's intentions in doing this is to get under Karen's skin. But Gizelle, you've forgotten that Karen's a tourist. If she allows you to make it seem like you're getting under her skin, please understand she's doing it for theatrics. She's playing into the game. But in this moment, Karen was like, oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Because Gizelle believes she gave, she did. She gave Karen the title of Grande Dame of Potomac, so she feels like she could take it away. So she's going to give it to, I'm about to call her 8.5. No, Nneka. Here's the thing, and I posted this on Twitter last night. I said to myself, this was so corny. This was such a corny, because it didn't land, and I get it. Karen and Gizelle have this sort of, rivalry, frenemy, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I get that, but I still found it to be corny. I didn't find this to be funny or interesting. It would be different if it was actually funny, but it wasn't funny. It was corny, especially because Nneka, at least for us, and it looks like with the group, she's no Grande Dame of anything. Just because you just bought a home in Potomac, okay. What makes her the Grande Dame? There was a reason why, Gizelle, you called Karen the Grande Dame. And look, based off on paper, Nneka could be the Grande Dame in the future, but her personality doesn't give Grande Dame. It doesn't give that. So for me, this whole ceremony that they want to throw for Nneka, it didn't land. It was corny. It's not about, they like to have this fun moment. Some of y'all on Twitter were like, the fans are so bitter. They don't understand that this is the back and forth that Karen and Gizelle have. We understand. What we're saying is it's become corny. Even Candace was like, this is stupid. And she walks away and she goes to her room because it was silly. These old antics of yesteryear are not funny or interesting. Doing what you did 8 seasons ago in season 8, we're like, what? This is silly. Especially because we don't feel as an audience that Nneka is that. It would be different if Nneka really gave that energy. Be like, yes. And I think that's part of the reason why we didn't see Karen have the reaction that they wanted her to have. For me. Exactly. Amber says Grande Dame is an energy Nneka doesn't have. And Nneka, that is not a read to you. It's just that's not what you have given us. And I'm not saying that you don't have the potential. Yes, based off what we originally got from Nneka, I could be like, okay, maybe. But so far what we've gotten this season, I'm like, no. So I thought it was corny. I didn't think that it was hateful of Gizelle, even though we know that Gizelle has that in her spirit. We know Gizelle has that in her spirit. However, I thought it was so corny. It didn't land. Like, if we're trying to have a moment, I was just like, this is silly. We're going to have a whole, gonna announce you as the new Grande Dame. New Grande Dame. No. All right. Anyways, I had enough ranting. I'm ready to get out of here. So I'm going to drop the call-in link for our members first. If you are a senior royal, we're dropping the call-in link for you first on the community tab here on YouTube. For those that are listening on the podcast, we will not be including the callers, so be sure to subscribe to the podcast, to our YouTube channel, so you can hear the callers there. And Royal Court members, we're dropping the call-in link for you next. Team Kempire members, we're going to drop the call-in link for you right after that. And if you would like to become a member, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. That is TeamKempire.com/join. And thank you guys so much for the Super Chats, Venmos, Cash Apps, PayPals. All that is wonderful. But you can also support the channel just by liking the video, sharing the video. All of that helps. All of that helps. And go give us a 5-star rating on the Kempire podcast. All right. Rita, thank you so much for the Super Chat. Rita says, at this point, I am watching because of Karen. For me, this season, and look, I've said this before, Karen is funny, she's interesting, but she can't carry the season on her back. She has been, but it still hasn't been a great season because there's only one person willing to play and have fun. Joe, thank you so much for another super chat. Joe says, per Karen, Nneka can govern her strip of land. She said that on Watch What Happens Live. Oh, my goodness. Thank you, Joe. I mean, look, Karen is a stellar housewife. This was probably one of the best castings for Potomac. At one point, I would have said that about Gizelle, but Gizelle has fallen off greatly because outside of her storyline with her daughter Grace this season, what else has she brought us this season? What else? And this has come from someone that feels as if Karen too, Gizelle carried a lot in the early seasons. I liked Gizelle in the early seasons until it got dark. For no reason. Was it because of the Sherman stuff? I went through that park. I went through that park. I was like, this is where the Sherman incident happened. Anyways, DM Rocks, thank you so much for the super chat. DM says, in my opinion, Gizelle, Ashley, Wendy, and Nneka can go. That's an interesting situation. Gizelle, Ashley, Wendy, and Nneka. Well, that's not going to happen. I don't believe Bravo or production are brave enough to get rid of that many housewives, at least right now for Potomac. I don't see them having the reboot that's happening over in Real Housewives of Atlanta. But you never know. But you also saw a Deadline posted out a story that, Potomac's having the best of their entire seasons. This is their best seasons in regards to ratings. I don't know about that. Temmie, thank you so much for the super chat. Temmie says, it is episode 13 and we have gotten nothing. Enough. Yeah, it's episode 13. And they're about to film their reunion next week. Anyways, we had a great time in DMV proper. We were in Washington, D.C. Shout out to DJ Richie Sky. He came out to support. Shout out to Raleigh Knox. Came out to support as well. And shout out to all of you that came out. It was so great meeting all of you. Shout out to Taria from What Else Is Going On podcast, who was our MC of the night. Shout out to Lexi T, who performed. She's from the DMV. She also performed because, we love up-and-coming artists. So shout out to everyone that was there showing love and support. We appreciate you guys. We definitely really, really do appreciate you. Some of you have been watching since the very, very, very beginning. All right, let me see. We got anybody? Oh, yeah, we got quite a few people. If you remember the channel, we posted the call-in link in the community tab on YouTube. Live chat. We have almost 1,500 of you in the building. Let's get to 550 likes, and I will drop the call-in link for the general audience. But if we don't get there, it's fine. Replay crew, you can like the video. You can show support. Let us know your thoughts, how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac, and your thoughts on the season so far. Are you looking forward to it ending? Maybe. All right. Thank you, Shireen. Shireen, we are working on London. Please understand, London's probably on the top of my list. I just don't know if it's on everyone else's list. Okay? Yes, Daddy says that Taria seems like she has great energy. She does. She definitely does. Shout out to Taria. DV, thank you so much for the super chat. DV says, over Wendy's selective outrage. I think people are kind of over Dr. Wendy Asefo. Because here's the thing. Outside of the whole Nneka situation, I don't know. I've sort of been on the fence when it comes to Dr. Wendy and what she's brought to the show. And her confusion when it comes to who she is and she's finding herself and things like that. And I said, I hope in this season that she just comes very transparent on, I'm still trying to find myself. Thank you so much, Rita, for another super chat. Rita says, can't wait to see you in Europe. Working on it. I'm telling you, I'm trying. I'm working. That's, I want to go international. Shout out to everyone that lives in the States, but you know where my heart is. I want to go international, okay? But it's all right. Patricia says, I love Wendy. I mean, look, I think Wendy offers a lot, especially when it comes to her confessionals. But I think as a whole, I don't know. I don't think it's enough. And we've given her quite a few seasons to figure that out. I don't know. Paul says, I have a soft spot for Potomac, but I haven't really watched this season. All right. All right. Anyways, we're going to get to some callers. So let me switch this out so that we can get to the callers. All right. Again, callers, please respect our rules in regards to no profanity, no derogatory comments, and please respect the timer. All right. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac for those that are just joining us. Let me just say thank you. I had another super chat as well. AC, thank you for the super chat. AC says, not to repeat, but I'm also only watching for Karen at this point. Also, the pics of your show fit. Congrats on another successful show. Thank you so much, AC. I appreciate that. Yeah, I posted a picture of my outfit from the for the show. I was trying to give you guys a little Valentine's Day because it was Valentine's Day week. Quite a few people brought their husbands, dragged their husbands to the show, and I gave you a little chest. You know what I mean? Look, I can clean up a little bit. I can clean up a little bit. Anyways, let's get to our callers. Alex is backstage. We're gonna bring up Alex because Alex is first, of course.
Wow, I'm actually surprised I made it first. This is
Really?
a redemption because I
Oh,
haven't made it first in a very long
I
time.
know you've been too busy.
Yeah. So, how I feel about Potomac is I know a lot of people are calling for a reboot, and while I think it deserves it, let's Potomac and Atlanta is a huge city with many different suburbs.
Mm.
Potomac, I don't believe is as big as Atlanta, and Bravo would never do two reboots at the same time because it takes a lot of time to do a reboot. It's easy to say let's do a reboot, but it takes at least a year to gather everybody and then put it out.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't do two at the same time because that would be a gap in the Real Housewives showings during the years. Um, so how I feel about this episode was that it was okay. It wasn't the best one I've seen. It wasn't the worst I've seen of this season. Wendy, I love you, but you saying that Nneka is what did she say? She's not choosing peace or something?
Yeah,
Wendy,
you don't
you're
want
not
peace.
choosing peace either.
Oh,
Let's be real.
oh,
Wendy, you're not choosing peace either. Um, Giselle, you're corny. You're very corny. You're a corny person. You trying to declare Nneka as the Grand Dame. Nneka does not give Grand Dame in any sense. She has never gave Grand Dame, and she never will give Grand Dame. Period. Karen. Thank you.
thank you, Alex. Take care. Bye. I was just reading them for filth, per usual. All right, Wendy's backstage. We're gonna bring up Wendy next. Hold on. What's going on, Wendy?
Hi, number two. Okay, you got me, Alice. Okay. You need to hurry up and tell us when you're coming to Nashville, because I would drive to Murfreesboro to stay
We're
with my sister to come and see you.
we are definitely working on Nashville. I guess we're just waiting on the venue to confirm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think Nneka is not really mad at Wendy about what her family did to her sister. I think Nneka is mad at Wendy because Wendy didn't want Nneka to be on the show.
Mm,
That's what I think that is, and she just using the family stuff as a way to just to stick the knife in it.
mm.
Um, I had something else to say. Oh Lord Jesus. I gave the show a 6. I watched it. I was like, what? It's Monday, whatever. But they need to let Gizelle and Robin go, and that's it. I forgot what I wanted to say. Next time I write it down. All right. Have a good day.
I'll
Bye.
call back in before we hang up. Bye. All right, Jenna's backstage. We're gonna bring up Jenna next. What's going on, Jenna?
Hi, Kempire. How are
Oh
you?
well, how are you?
I'm good. Is that what you was giving the little Valentine's V at the show? Ew.
A
Okay.
little bit.
I know I know we're supposed to be talking about Potomac, but I did want to say I really enjoyed the sister that you had come to sing. The other
Lexi.
day, I thought she had a beautiful voice, and
that
she
wasn't
also
you.
interacted with the crowd very well
Yeah.
too. So she was a riot. I'm gonna go download that song real quick about her original song that she had. Real quick about Potomac. I think, and I'm not coming at anybody in the chat. I love the Kempire Empire, but I feel like people have selective outrage for Dr. Wendy.
Hmm.
People are always saying, "Oh, you can't do something to somebody and then tell them how to get over it or whatever like that." The first thing that should have been out of Nneka's mom is like, "I'm sorry I talked about your mother." I mean, out of Nneka's mouth should have been, "I'm sorry I talked about your mother,"
Hmm.
and that would alleviate a lot of this foolishness, but she don't want to say sorry. And I don't blame Dr. Wendy for not seeing it for her. And I still like Dr. Wendy this season, even though she might not fit necessarily with the cast. I still enjoy her and what she brings.
Mm.
Not to be the person who's like, oh, she's getting a bad edit, but I don't know what was going on with her saying like, oh, I'm not sharing a room with her because it did sound kind of negative. I agree.
Ugh.
I'm not sure if it was because like it sounded like the girl was really sick on the plane.
Oh.
And I know like I don't want to. I might not. I saw somebody else say in the chat. I might not want to share a bathroom with somebody who's really sick like that.
Mm.
I don't know if they're just trying to make her look bad and simultaneously trying to make Gizelle look good. Or, oh, have her go be nice to dark skinned lady that's on there. I'm not fooled. Gizelle can go.
Oh.
And
Okay.
that's all I'm gonna say. Bye
Thanks, Jenna. Take care. Live chat, we will drop the call in link once we get to 550 likes. Liking the video is an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Thank you so much, Reiki with Janaki. I remember this photo. I met you. Thank you so much for the super sticker. We appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let me bring up our next caller. All right, we've got Joe backstage. We're going to bring up Joe. What's going on, Joe?
Not much. How's your chest, Kempire? Still sore?
Still a little sore. If you were at the show, you know
Oh,
why.
woo woo woo. Anyways, having been on both shows, like in New York and DC, they're quite different, but like each one has been really enjoyable. So
Thank
who
you.
knows? I might pop myself in Philly too. Who
Okay.
knows?
All right, not you coming on tour with us.
Anyways, like this season in general, well, actually the series in general, the past few seasons, just been quite exasperating to
Mm,
see the same unresolved conflict season after season.
yeah.
And if the issue really is colorism, then I don't know if it will be resolved at all. Because the ladies, like Candace, for example, she said that they're not equipped to talk about it.
No.
And Andy and the producers don't appear to want to address it or talk
Mm,
about it. And with the ratings still rating, I don't know if Bravo or the producers will be incentivized to change much out of this
mm,
if the numbers are numbering from a viewership standpoint. So it's kind of sad, but I don't know. Something needs to change.
no.
Yeah.
Good point.
Anyways, that's all I have.
Thank you, Joe. Take care.
Bye.
All right. We've got Tyler backstage. We're going to bring up Tyler next. Guys, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Tyler, what's going on? What are your thoughts?
Hi, Kempire. So I'm going to say this very briefly. I think that what's going on with Potomac is a little bit different from what went on with Atlanta. I feel like we actually have a decent cast with horrible producers who are not forcing them to, address certain things. Like, for instance, Ashley does not want to leave her ex-husband, well, her current husband for security. Gizelle went through a major divorce. Why are you not forcing them to have those conversations? I noticed that Ashley said Giselle opened up to her and told her, well, yeah, it gets hard. Why are we not filming those type of things?
Mm,
I feel like what's going on with Potomac is strictly the producers. They're allowing each girl to kind of do what they want to do, not film with who they don't want to, and talk about whatever they feel like. Like, it's like we're not getting their real story, and it's because of the producers at the end of the day. Whereas Atlanta, none of those women are friends. They don't like it. The cast made no sense. This cast can move forward if they had the proper producers. In my opinion, that's all.
okay. Thanks, Tyler. All right. All right. Dewan's backstage. We're going to bring up Dewan next. Dewan, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, Kempire? Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly, actually.
Fantastic. I I agree with the last caller completely. I have an issue with why does it feel like our black shows on Bravo are just being undermined? Like when I look at, not that I watch Beverly Hills that often or Orange County, but they put a lot more into. I feel like their personal stories and there's so much drama behind it, and Bravo's like they're really producing those shows, and it just seems to fall short with Atlanta and Potomac.
Mm,
I think part of that is though because some of these OGs, when you get into that position, it just becomes like gatekeeping, and
mm,
so they're not allowing this new talent to kind of you know engage with the group and really vibe and have a good understanding for one another. So it just everything just doesn't it just seems inauthentic.
mm,
I will continue to watch though because I need to see that fight. And if they pull that footage and only used it for the commercial, I'm going to be mortified. I'm going to be mortified.
So you're referring to the fight between Kiarna and Deborah.
Yeah, yeah.
They weren't filming then. It was after. It was after the fashion show. I don't know if they will include it. I don't think they will because it involved people that aren't important to the story of the season.
Wow. So I really don't know what's going to go on with this season. That's terrible. I appreciate your time.
Of course. Take care, Dwan. Sorry, everyone. For those that didn't know, I'm glad he brought it up, though. All right, guys, we're almost at 550 likes. Keep liking the video. We already have over 1,400 people watching. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how you would rate this week's episode of The Real Housewives of Potomac. And also let me know how you would rate this season overall. DC Diva, I see you in the live chat. Hey, I remember some of your usernames. Some of the usernames I don't remember, but some of them stick out to me because it's just easy to remember. So shout out to all of you. We're going to bring up Miss Esquire next. Miss Esquire, what are your thoughts on The Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I'm good. How are you, honey, and your clavicle? He's giving clavicle and bone structure, everybody. Yes, yes, I'm here for it. Bring it on down below the Mason-Dixon.
I'm bad.
I don't really have a whole lot to say about Potomac because I really am tired of the way that we have to engage with this show is through sort of a critical analysis of sort of the production and the plot. I hate when I'm thinking more about those things than I'm thinking about the experience of the women that I'm watching on television. It's making it really hard to enjoy. Having said that, I am with Wendy. Here's the thing. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It's the ability to handle conflict through peaceful means. And I want somebody to send Wendy that quote because she wants the absence of any conflict and she wants total and complete sort of apology and I think a little bit of groveling from Nneka, and no grown woman is going to give you that even if they have done something wrong that they need to take accountability for. So I want Wendy to figure out what is the peaceful means by which they can resolve this conflict because it's not going to be the absence of conflict. And that's about it, honey. See you later. Talk to you soon.
That was deep. Thank you, Miss Esquire. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, no, I mean, it's true. But I think a lot of us, think that in order to find peace, it would be something like that. So I'm not going to fault Dr. Wendy for believing that that's going to bring resolve. But I also do think that there's an element of she does want Nneka to grovel and to be like, oh, you're a newbie. You should be, looking up to me. You should be, sweating me. Maybe. Miss Sharon's backstage. You're going to bring up Miss Sharon next. Miss Sharon, what are your thoughts on Potomac?
I thought it was pretty good last night, but I actually have a question for you, Kempire.
Yes.
Did you go to Potomac?
Did I go to Potomac? I probably drove through Potomac.
Oh, so it wasn't that big.
No, not really.
Well, did you make it to Surrey County?
No, I didn't have that much time. I'm sorry, Karen. I didn't mean to say it like that. No.
Oh.
I did drive through Georgetown, though.
Oh, okay. And how was that?
It was actually really nice. I liked, the DMV area. It's really pretty.
Oh, that's nice. Well, that's all I had today. But I did enjoy the show.
Okay, that's all that matters.
I wished I would have went to the DC show, but I'm not a flyer. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But if you go somewhere else this summer, I may take a train because I've never been on a train.
Like, you've never been on a train? Like St. Louis?
Yeah, I've never been on a train.
All right. Is St. Louis near where you are?
Yes, it is. It's like 125 miles down the road.
That's a lot of miles, but we might be coming to St. Louis.
Okay, then I'll probably no, my husband's not going to drive me there, so I'll take the train.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Sharon. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, we're working on dates, y'all. I know a lot of you are waiting for official dates, but we're working on dates. All right. April's backstage. We're going to bring up April next to weigh in on Potomac. April, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire. So I just watch your reviews on the show because I can't be bothered too much. But as a person who is I have different spiritual beliefs, like so hoodoo, and I do know people that are in ATR, which is African traditional religions.
Mm.
So I feel like Miss Neck, that's what I call Nneka, when she came on the show, you have to keep in mind that people are ignorant, and so with they could have had a much broader conversation about the different religious backgrounds and beliefs and persecutions that people go to, because some people think hoodoo is bad, but what I've learned, that's not the case. And so if someone called me a witch, I would probably offend, especially like my mom, but I'm like, no, that's not what I practice. And she doesn't want to apologize sincerely. And I say that as a person who is stubborn, and I have trouble apologizing too. But Miss Net doesn't truly want to take the correct steps to apologize. And even when she went back to the group, she left out key parts of the conversation.
Mm.
And it's like, stop taking shots. But
Mm.
that's it. I'm going to go back to work. Love your channel. Can't wait to see you in Florida. Have a great day. Chat.
Thanks,
Bye.
April. Bye. I mean, she also likes to make Nneka likes to make little shady comments under her breath about Dr. Wendy, and then she's always asking about Dr. Wendy when Dr. Wendy's not there. So there are these little things you're like, girl, have your own thing. You don't have to bring up Wendy like at Candace's Mother's Day. Like you didn't have to ask about Wendy. I don't know. Anyways, Cottoman, we're gonna bring you up next. What's going on, Cottoman? What are your thoughts on the Real Housewives of Potomac latest episode?
Well, to be fair, I didn't really watch. I've been watching the little clips and kind of using you
Oh,
to guess what's going on. I watched the first 5 episodes and then I was just kind of like, I'm bored. I'm not watching and I don't want to support something that I don't like.
hmm.
But with the whole, I did watch the scene with between Wendy and Nneka. I think the issue overall is that people are tired of Nneka and how this whole situation between Wendy and Nneka is that Nneka basically had a modus operandi. She basically came in there already having an idea of what to do. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of people, including me, are pissed off. It's like, do you understand that you are on a national platform? You're bringing up something that's very taboo. I don't know because I'm not Nigerian, but I think on some kind of level, I'm with Wendy on this one. What is your problem with specifically her? She
Hmm.
could not answer. And my issue is that you obviously you haven't thought this through.
Hmm.
And part of me is just like, this should be your last season
Oh.
because you come in here, you basically have a hidden agenda, and then you can't even tell Wendy what's your problem with her. Now, back to Wendy, I personally feel like she's upset, understandably, but this is where I'm kind of like, this is what happens when you keep putting jabs in people. They put walls up.
Hmm.
And I'm just kind of like, well, if you didn't have a hidden agenda, none of this would have happened. And then, all this stuff would have started. But that's just me.
Okay.
But
Oh,
overall, I'm good.
all right. Thanks, Cottoman. Take
You
care.
too.
Bye.
Hope you have a good day. Bye.
All right, let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats, and thank you guys so much for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, the Cameo requests, all of that. We appreciate you supporting any way that you can. And again, shout out to everyone that came out to our New York City show and DC show on this past Friday. We appreciate you guys. And if you don't forget to tag me in your photos and things like that so I can see everything and approve them. No, I'm playing. Joe, thank you so much for the super chat. Joe says, what's the overlap between the DMV and Potomac proper? You asking me, Joe, you're from this area. I am not getting into conversations about what is DMV and what's Potomac proper, okay? I was in DMV proper, and that was in Washington, D.C., all right? Thank you for another super chat. Joe says, did you drive by and eat at the Jamaican restaurant? No, I didn't, because I heard that was pretty far from where I was staying, so I did not drive by. I did see Milk and Honey was right by my hotel. I did go to Kitchen and Cocktails. Shout out to Chef Corn over at Kitchen and Cocktails. The first day I got there, I went there and ate. Oh, the food was delicious. Delish. Temmie, thank you so much for the super chat. Temmie says Nneka tried to break the fourth wall and struggled. Ooh. Oof. Gracie, how come I feel like I haven't seen your name in so long? Gracie's Quilting and Crafting Corner. Thank you so much for the super chat. Did you see Watch What Happens Live when Romeo Okwara Nigerian's mother said she was not happy about the voodoo storyline, and Andy uncomfortably agreed. I did not see that. Was that this past week? Someone sent me the clip. But that's the thing, and I'm so glad that we have folks that are within the Nigerian community that have called in and weighed in and shared how taboo this is, and this really is. I feel like Nneka and Wendy kind of gave us an idea of that in this week's episode, though, because they both were saying, don't you know what your mother allegedly did affects my lineage, and Wendy's like, don't you know what you are saying on public platform like this is how it affects my children. Remember the rumors about the issues between Dr. Wendy Sefo, Eddie's family, and things like that, and Osu rumors and things like that. Because that's probably part of the reason why they sent our girl Layla Lynn a cease and desist a few years ago in that story. She reported on that story about the Osu stuff. Layla shared this when we did our Potomac recaps. So maybe that's because of, I didn't realize how deep it is. Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Queen says, why did Andy bring that Nigerian woman to say the same thing we have been saying here about Nneka? I repeat, this is unforgivable, especially to the culture. Well, I hope they bring somebody for the reunion. And I don't want to put it on Nneka or Wendy to discuss it, to be honest with you. Anyways, guys. All right, we have quite a few people already in the live chat, guys. Let's get to 600 likes. I'm going to drop the call-in link for the general audience, but we still have some members backstage. Wendy called back in, so I'm going to bring Wendy back up. Wendy, do you remember what you want to say?
Yes. Okay. So Nneka needs to watch out because I do believe the first season Wendy was with the Monique and the Candace situation, and they kind of used Wendy as a way to ice out Monique. Now, once not Monique, but once they keep icing out Candace and Wendy, they're gonna ice out Nneka too. They're just using her. She's just a number.
Oh.
And also, you should watch Capote versus the Swans feud. Capote versus the Swans on FX. You will love it.
Oh, okay.
Okay
right.
then.
Thank you, Miss Wendy.
Bye.
I am watching Love is Blind. I will talk a little bit of Love is Blind tomorrow during our Tuesday takeover, along with, 90 Day Fiance. We will have to continue our conversation about Portia Williams and the Simon Gobadia situation. So stay tuned for that tomorrow. Tuesday takeover at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. PST. The timer is telling me I need to move on. Let's bring up Miss Bernice. Miss Bernice, what's going on?
What up, though? What up, though? How you doing today, Kempire?
Well, how are you?
I'm fine. Okay, let me get my thoughts right for this because it was really kind of sad looking at the show last night because Nneka, you are from the same tribe as Wendy, so you know exactly the ramifications of what you said, and you repeatedly said on national television. And for you to not understand that, but you still kept trying to get your point across when your family came after me. That was between Wendy's sister and Levy. It didn't have nothing to do with you. You put yourself in the situation because you're going to use that as your storyline, and it backfired on you because you crossed the line. And you turned into the victim. You turned to a Karen when Wendy said, okay, you're not understanding this, the ramifications. So you have your life, I have mine. We could be in the same room together, but you over there, I'm over here. And she got up and she walked away. And then she turned into, oh, they bullying me. And she started crying. I said, no, she's not the victim now. Wow. Really?
All right, Miss Bernie.
I mean, yeah, that was irking me. And the Green Eyed Bandits is going to be the Green Eyed Bandits no matter what. And Nneka is going to be on the chopping block if she lasts the next season. But I don't care. I'm not watching after the reunion because I'm tired of this bull crap.
All right. Thank you, Miss Bernice, for calling in.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're gonna bring up Toya next. What's going on, Toya? What are your thoughts on Real Housewives of Potomac's latest episode? Toya, you're muted.
Hey, Kempire. Sorry
Hey,
about that.
that's okay.
How are you?
Homa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I just wanted to reiterate that most Black Americans know nothing about voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
And as someone who knows about that culture, it is a very serious, bad thing if you felt like someone was working roots on you.
Mm.
It is not something that you would talk about on national television or la di da. You would be scared for your life. Now, you
Mm.
don't, if you don't believe and you don't know, then you don't know and you don't believe in it. But I have never heard it being used for anything good. And I'm sure there might be people who do, but every time I've heard it being used is bad. People are scared. They got to get holy water, they got to get cleansing baths and prayers and scripture read over them. It is a serious, like, that it's like almost people feel like you're working evil on you and they're praying evilness into your life.
Mm.
So if you don't know and you don't believe, then that's fine. But what Nneka is doing is unforgivable. And Wendy, yes, she has every right to go hard because it is a serious thing. And like I said, if you're a Black American, you don't know, then you just don't know, and you better be glad you don't know.
Mm.
Okay, sorry.
All right, Toya, we gotta go, but thank you so much for calling in.
All right, thank you. Bye bye.
Take care. Bye. Here's the thing, though. There are people that practice voodoo as a religion. So I don't want to disrespect them and their religion. So look, I think the stereotype is that it's all evil, but people that practice it will tell you otherwise. So I just want to press that and make sure I mention that. All right, we have a long line backstage, and look, I gotta go before 4:30 because I have to rewatch Married to Medicine before I recap at 5:30, and y'all wonder why I end up being late. All right, Alex, you have to make it quick. It can't be a full minute.
All right,
Go.
hold on. I just had to say, sorry, I was eating some yummy cheese dip. Anyway, um, listen, did any of y'all notice that Gizelle could not properly say Nneka's name, and she missaid it at least 3 times? How is she your good friend, and she's now the Grand Dame of Potomac if you can't even say her name correctly? Really, really, Giselle? Really? Anyway, this is off topic for Potomac. Should I say it Married to Medicine or here? Because it's about Simon Guabadia. And I already told you this, T, but I feel like it even more applies now because now his real truth has come out
Mm.
about him
Mm.
being washed up and about him coming to Africa. No, seriously, about him coming to Africa. And once he came on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, he was taken seriously as a businessman in Nigeria, and that's when his wealth started to come in because he was
Mm.
broke as could be. And this is coming from someone that lives in Atlanta who is friends with Mariah Huck, who has a cousin who actually was one of the chiefs in Nigeria that was around Simon Guabadia.
No.
So, Simon Guabadia, you are a criminal, sir. A criminal. Anyways, good day.
Goodbye. All right, Jess, we're going to bring you up next. What's going on, Jess? What are your thoughts on the Real Housewives of Potomac's latest episode?
Hey, so one of the thoughts I have, of course, like like I'm Nigerian, married Nigerian, all that. And so I do understand that like what Nneka is doing is a lot and it's like really detrimental. And I think that it's one of those things where Wendy was already battling these allegations and things like that already. And so it was sort of a thing where it basically put a stunt on her entire, like, it basically brought it back up again. And
Mm.
even with Ashley with the alley oop and bringing up the articles and all that, it was sort of a thing where it was reintroduced. And I actually watched her show last week where she was talking about to Eddie and she was interviewing him and she was saying that her and the family are actually on speaking terms and she went to the wedding and things have been like getting better and he was
Eddie's
saying that
family.
Eddie's family, and they've been like, really on better terms and everything like that. And he was saying that he wishes that he fought more for them, and that the situation and why they stopped being why the parents were at issues was because of the fact that her and the mom, like, they couldn't get over their like
I'll say that last part
strong
again.
like, basically Wendy's mom and his mom couldn't get over like the strong energies and stuff like that. And so it was a thing where it's like Nneka saying this about the mom, it kind of like carried that over. And I feel
Mm.
like it's something where it's like
they might just have to separate altogether if they're not going to like work on things off camera. And
Mm,
yeah,
okay. All right. Thank you so much for calling in, Jess.
no problem at all.
Bye. See, I mean, I hope they bring that up at the reunion in regards to Eddie's family and Wendy's family reuniting and being in a better place because that sort of has always been in the back of I think a lot of people's minds. All right, we're gonna bring up. So we have a long line. Please, everyone, to the point. You hear the buzzer? Drop, please. Kiki, we're gonna bring you up next. Kiki, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
Hi, so Kempire, I'm Nigerian, and honestly, this whole situation really, really irks me to my core. Nneka needs to go. You know, in Nigeria, we take these things seriously. You can't go around saying somebody does witchcraft. And I don't know how it's viewed in the Western world. Oh, it's voodoo. No, witchcraft from where we're from is bad. It's horrible. Like, it's just terrible. You don't say it. When you say kitchen table talks, no, those things are not supposed to be mentioned whatsoever. So, really, I really do not blame Wendy. And also, I really feel like Ashley, I don't know, something needs to happen with Ashley. She needs to go off that show because she's so ignorant. You know, bringing
Mm,
that whole Osu stuff is really deep. In our Nigerian culture, you don't play with that. That is like, there are families that you could have dated this girl or the guy for how many years and
mm,
really want to marry them, but because they are considered Osu, like you can't even, people don't want to relate with you whatsoever. So
mm,
putting that out there and just throwing it and just being so ignorant, I think that even hurt me to the core more than what Neka said. That whole
mm.
also, it's a whole new ballgame of its own, and people should deal with these things, with sensitivity. And I just find that Ashley just doesn't really have like I don't know.
No,
Yeah, I don't know the words for it, but
no.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kiki. Take care. I think at the reunion or even before the reunion, Ashley owes Dr. Wendy Asefo an apology for even bringing that back up. Now, knowing what she knows now, if she does, I don't know. All right, DV's backstage. We're gonna bring DV up. What's going on, DV? What are your thoughts on Real Housewives of Potomac?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
I want to point out one main reason for the selective outrage was Wendy. You guys have a short term memory. She was supposed to drag Nneka. You want to talk about my mom, you take me to the side. Just like she drugged Gizelle about bringing up the Eddie affair. I don't have a problem with any of that. Where was that selective outrage when they were dogging out, when she was joining the Robin and Giselle to get rid of Monique? I guess
Mm,
Monique wasn't dark enough for colorism to be an issue then. That's what I'm talking about with Wendy and why I can't get on the bandwagon with Wendy.
mm,
She allowed them to drag Monique and said nothing. The very next season, oh, now it's about colorism. Uh, I don't want to hear it. If it's not for everybody, then it shouldn't be for her either. So that's what I'm talking about, not the other part about it. And
mm,
Karen, leave Robin alone. That is such low hanging fruit. You're starting to make me think you just want to take the eyes off of you and Ray and your arranged relationship or whatever your arrangement is with Ray. That's where I am with Karen. Please talk to you soon.
Bye,
Bye.
DV. You know what? One thing I do want to remind the audience, though, is a lot of people always say that Candace or Dr. Wendy Asefo are the ones that brought up colorism. No, those conversations on colorism began in the audience before it even came to the show. I just want to point that out. Lee is backstage. We're gonna bring up Lee next. What's going on, Lee? What are your thoughts on Potomac?
Hey, Kempire, how are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing good. So I'm actually walking to the doctor's appointment, so it's gonna be very fast.
Okay.
I really do think that Ashley is at fault here. She's the one who brought it to surface again. It's just
Mm,
like every other housewife shows. Of course, there are rumors, but once you bring it onto the show, you bring it to the nation, and that's where people's problems lie. So I do believe the fault is at Ashley's, but I don't blame Wendy for not really fully apologizing or acknowledging Nneka. It's wrong. You should not ever talk about my mother on national TV. That's just wrong. Whether she did those things or not, they have no power unless you believe in it.
mm.
Simple as that. They hold no power. So if she did witchcraft, okay, your face should be set up where it brushed right off of you.
Okay. All right,
That's
Lee.
it.
Thank you so much for calling in.
You too. Talk
Bye.
soon. Bye bye.
Let me stop that. All right, we're gonna bring up Jamie next. What's going on, Jamie?
Hello, good afternoon, Kempire. You look as cute as ever.
Thank you.
Um, I hope you had some crab cakes and crabs in the DMV.
I don't eat seafood.
Hopefully nothing like the crabs in a barrel in Potomac
Oh,
because they keep clawing over one another and cannot coexist. It is annoying. Quick, because I know I have to be quick. This thing with Nneka, I believe her.
mm,
And I'm not Nigerian, I'm not African, but I am a Caribbean girl from Jamaica, and we don't play about the voodoo and the obia and none of that. So I understand to my African sisters, I appreciate the education that they're giving us. But I don't think Nneka would have brought this up if it was not deep
mm,
for her. And I do believe there's something not clean in the milk with Miss Susan. Okay. I thank the caller earlier who mentioned that the families are talking. I would love Eddie's family to be on this show, specifically his mom,
mm,
to tell us more. And I think that's why Wendy did not want Nneka on this show. Nneka knows more. And I'm not going to, you should never call anyone's mother a witch, but if it walks like a duck and it swims like a duck and it looks like a duck, it's a duck. So Wendy should be more concerned with her mom getting her complexion back because we see her knuckles instead of people calling her mom a witch. And I'm going to stick to that because I'm tired of this colorism conversation and nobody wants to talk about skin bleaching in the midst of it.
mm.
That's my take.
All right, Jamie. Thank you so much for calling
Okay.
in.
Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Bye. All right. All right. See, the audience is fired up when it comes to this. Guys, we're going to try to get to everyone, but I can't promise it because I got to get off of here so I can rewatch Married to Medicine for our recap at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to weigh in and share your thoughts. But a reminder, y'all, we do not moderate adults. I don't have time for it. I'm not going to address it. If you can't moderate yourself, please just go somewhere else or you will be blocked. All right, just a reminder. I don't have the page. I don't have kids for a reason. All right. All right. Coasted, we're going to bring you up next. What's going on? What are your thoughts?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for bringing me on. I hope you're doing well.
I am.
Good. So I wanted to say that Karen looks so good. She's so pretty. You know, to be triple 60, she looks amazing. I could only hope to live that long and look as good as she does.
Yeah.
But I wanted to bring up, like, I was the second person to buy my tickets in Atlanta. So I was so excited to see you.
Thank
I was
you.
sweating like I was buying Beyonce tickets, honey. I was so ready. But when I was buying them, I was like, where's the meet and greet at? Like, I'm like, what is going on with that?
There was an
So,
issue. There was an issue. Now it should be available. It's an upgrade that you can do for Atlanta. There was some sort of website issue, but it is now available, the meet and greets.
okay, yeah. I actually went back to the website this morning
Okay.
and saw that it was available, but then I was like, I gotta buy a whole new ticket.
No,
So, you know, I
it's an
called them.
it should be an upgrade.
Oh, well, I just called them and
Oh,
I
okay.
was like, hey, I need my meet and greet, please. So they sent me a link
Okay.
and I'm happy now.
Okay.
So yeah, Holy Ghost fire to whoever did that. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coasted. Bye. Shout out to Coasted. Not Beyonce tickets. It is so not this, but I already told you I am not Ticketmaster. No, come on. All right, Amina, we're gonna bring you up next. What's going on, Amina? What are your thoughts on this whole situation over in Potomac? Amina, you're muted.
Hi.
There you go.
Good evening.
Yes.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, cool. I hope you guys are good. So, I just want to comment on the Wendy situation. Well, I'm not Nigerian. I'm South African. So, obviously in our culture, you can't speak about someone's mother. Like, that's just you can't come back from that. Once you say someone's mother is a witch, I just feel like it's just really bad. Like, you can't come back from that. And it doesn't matter how much Nneka tries to gaslight or downplay the situation. It's just, in my opinion, you can't just come back from that. So, yeah, that's just it. But thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Amina. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, it's me, MK. I'm trying to get to as many calls as we can before I have to get off of here. It's me, MK. What's going on? What are your thoughts on this?
Hey there,
Hey.
glad to catch you live.
Yeah.
I actually have not watched Potomac since this season, episode one,
Hmm.
when they went to Ashley's quote unquote seaside house. It didn't feel right. NECA, it was too much too fast, episode one. So I only watched clips on YouTube, your recaps, and Instagram. But I just wanted to call in and weigh in on the Wendy witchcraft situation. I'm Kenyan, so
Hmm.
East African. I'm not Nigerian, but that witchcraft thing, Africans, is a no no. And I hope for the non Africans listening and hearing the other Africans come in realize how much of an issue this is and how taboo this is. First of all, don't come for my mother, and second, don't call her a witch. It's not
Hmm.
going to be bridge water under the bridge.
Hmm.
Like, I want people to realize like like what this situation means. It's an accusation that you can't get away from.
No.
Like, even if you're quote unquote cleared from it, that stain is on your name and on your family. So
Hmm.
this is a big freaking deal. And just for that, I won't watch Potomac next season. Won't even bother with episode one.
Wow.
I'm done.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much, MK, for calling in. And because of the conversations that we're having with the callers, I am going to include the callers in the podcast version just in case, some people won't go over to YouTube and listen. And I think what all the callers are mentioning are important for, if you're just a podcast listener. So podcasts, if you stayed this long, you already know I've included the callers because of this. Let me just say thank you because we had a few super chats as well. Reiki with Jen Key. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate it. And it was nice meeting you as well. DC Diva, nice meeting you as well. Hey, Kempire, I'm anxiously awaiting your skincare line. Loved meeting you in person. Love meeting you as well, DC Diva. And I mean, look, a skincare line takes years to develop. Look at Beyonce. I'm sure she's been working on Sacred for years. So I'm not down on Beyonce, even though, Costa said she was sweating ordering her tickets from me. Delon, thank you so much for the super chat. Delon says, "Hey, Kempire." Oh, wait, hold on. Delon. "Hi, Kempire. Was late, but neck brace needs to go." Come on, y'all came up with so many names for Nneka. Nneka, it's not me, it's them. Okay. The French lady, thank you so much for the super chat. French lady says, "I think Bravo set up not Horsha, come on, Portia. Sorry, Portia. Just like Jen Shaw and Teresa. I'm so mad at myself for used to love them. Colorist Jizzy and Juan's roommate." Oh my Lord, French lady. Ali, thank you so much for another super chat. Ali says the skin bleaching read is not going to end the colorism conversation. It proves the colorism point. People bleach because they are tired of being told they are unattractive for having dark skin. And we talked about this. Remember when we were recapping Young, Famous, and African and Africans' view on skin bleaching? It's very different than this part of the world. So that's why we've talked about Dr. Wendy Asefo's mom and the skin bleaching because it's so obvious. But we also told you that Africans view it very differently. And yes, you can say that it's rooted in something else. But look, again, I always go back to your body, your choice. I'm like, look, it's not my body. And I'm never going to promote someone doing it. But look, your body, your choice. Temi, thank you so much for another super chat. Temi says, also, no Nigerian is letting it an alleged or real witch into their home. Nneka is reaching for a lifeline. I did have that thought. Because if what's happening between you and Wendy is so taboo and it's so scary, if her mother did put your name in a shrine and you're saying that within your culture what that means, why would you want to be friends with Wendy? Why would you want to move forward with Wendy? Well, some might say it's for the show, but okay. All right. Let me get to the rest of these calls. Callers, again, please respect the timer because I gotta go. We have Married to Medicine recap at 5:30, and I have to rewatch it. All right, we're gonna bring up Lavender Harmony. That sounds like it would be lovely. Lavender, what's going on?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Okay, so very quickly, I'm Nigerian, and we Nigerians completely, the entire country of Nigeria, we're exhausted with Nneka. The last point you made about somebody saying if there is a witch that is haunting you or going after you and your family, there is no way if I was Nneka, I would even come on the show at all. If somebody told me they put my name in a shrine, there's no way you will find me here. Not at all. No way, no how. Then, where is Sharice?
Oh, I thought that
Like,
this week.
what are we doing?
Sharice, where
We've
is
gone
she?
an entire season. I think we've only seen her twice. Why is she not on the trip? Is she not friends with Robin anymore?
I forgot. Oh, damn.
Like,
Why
a
did you
whole
have to remind
Kiana
us?
that had an entire fight with Deborah. We know about this, but we still know Sharice. What are we doing? Somebody find Sharice. Is she okay?
We don't care. You
And
brought
then-
her up.
All right, thank you, Kempire. Looking forward to reunion and seeing all the outfits. Having a good time. Bye.
Thank you. Take care. Here's the thing. I literally had that thought earlier, and then it slipped my mind to talk about where's Sharice. Sharice hasn't shown up, but I also completely forgot that we don't see Sharice during the DR trip. So why did they bring her back? Why did they make her official friend of? Why did they give her an actual photo? We know why Kiana did not get her photo because of, the fight situation happened. So anyways, let me move on. All right, Elle, we're going to bring you up next. What's going on, Elle?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
Okay, so I just wanted to say, first of all, that with the whole voodoo topic, I just wanted to say I watched on Amazon Prime
Mm-hmm.
the actor Digimon Honsu. He did a documentary because he's from Cameroon. It's called In Search of Voodoo, Roots to Heaven. It's a beautiful documentary for anybody interested in really understanding it
Yeah.
and not coming out with a judgment about it. So I recommend that to anybody instead of saying it's evil, it's this, it's that. It's not. It's someone's culture, it's their religion, it's their way of life. Okay, and then all I wanted to do was call in to say, of course, I was there Friday night. I had a great time. And
Oh.
yeah, I got to ask the question about the traders. The
Yeah.
four.
I'm sorry for remember everything,
Yes.
but
No, I
yes.
know you had a busy night, but I just want to let everybody know it was a great time.
Thank you.
It was so much fun. I was so happy. I got out of my house and I went and I enjoyed myself. I'm so glad that you came to DC. So I just wanted to thank you for that. It was lovely. Everybody, get your tickets. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you, Elle. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good one.
Bye. See, we had a good time. And one of the things that I love too is that the community got to meet each other. So some of you made new friends. So don't be afraid to come to these shows by yourself or with yourself, I like to say. All right. Philly, you're up next. March 7th. Tickets are available in the description. And Boston was announced. Atlanta was announced. And we're going to announce some more, hopefully, very soon. All right. Let me get to the rest of these callers. Callers, you got to be quick because I got to go watch this thing. All right. Delon, we're going to bring you up for a quick comment. What's going on, Delon?
Hi, Kempire. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Congratulations on your live show. I hope you drop Nashville soon because I am ready, just like old girl with the Beyonce tickets. Okay.
Nashville, you said?
Yes.
Okay. Stay tuned.
Yes. But anyway, let's get on Miss Nneka Brace real quick. You keep saying shrine, shrine, shrine. If you feel so hurt and attacked, leave her alone and just be friends with Gizelle and them like you want to be and just pay Wendy dust like she's doing you because you're annoying us at this point. And production is still trying to paint Wendy and Candace as villains, and I'm over it because they've done nothing wrong, in my opinion, but defend themselves just like everyone else. And Ashley, karma gonna get her, period, point blank. Have a nice day.
You too, Delon. Take care.
You too.
All right, perfect timing. We're going to bring up Nicole next. What's going on, Nicole? What are your thoughts on Real Housewives of
Hey,
Potomac?
Kempire. I'm so glad you came in the neck of the woods. I wasn't able to meet you.
It's okay.
But
next time.
Did you see Great Falls?
Didn't know.
Did you drive through?
No. At least I don't think so. I can't keep up.
That's where Karen.
Oh, no. I didn't get that.
The suburban horses, like ranches. Like, it's in the back of the woods of Virginia. Like, that's all I wanted to say. But you've heard me call a million times. I'm prideful of my African side, Burkina Faso, and my Black American Southern side. This touches me because I keep trying to tell people, don't let my American accent fool you. I grew up in both cultures, Mali, Niger. My father's from Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast. It truly goes on. What I don't like about Nneka is the fact that she's trying to be so Americanized. She's getting tainted with the salt and the pepper and not getting tainted with her true self as the pepper sauce and the peanut sauce and the fufu. That's what she's doing. And it breaks my heart because we know as Africans, it goes on. This is what Beyonce's been talking. You look at the history of New Orleans, African. This is what she's rooting for. So when Nneka is doing this, and I believe, I'm sorry to, because I'm passionate, because I love all your callers.
Yeah.
They brought some good points, but check into Africa. And I just want to say, Wendy, she's sticking to her Africans. She's keeping it guarded. I'm 50 years old. I saw it in the 80s. Skin bleaching ain't just happened, baby.
Oh, no.
It's been going on in the 80s. I used to see it in the markets in West Africa in 82, 80, 81.
No.
So, yeah, it's a thing that goes on. But Nneka, she needs to stop being so Americanized. And this is what I was telling you months ago on your thing. DMV,
Nicole,
all Africans are mad at her,
Nicole,
not just Nigerians.
Yes, Nicole, you're eating up everyone else's time. I gotta go.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's
okay.
all I wanted to say. Thank you,
so
baby.
much.
Bye-bye.
All right, because I try to, I really do try to get to all of the callers. Born to Win, please make it quick. Everyone's getting 30 seconds. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Right. Hi, how are you?
Well, how are you?
Good, good. Okay, so I also agree with most of the callers, especially our African callers. As you know, I keep saying I'm West African myself. I'm from Liberia. Someone said earlier, I think it was a South African young lady that spoke earlier and said that, there's no way that I don't see Wendy going past this as well because she is protecting her family's name because it is really big within our culture. Because, like you said also, Kempire, that if someone was to say they had your name in a shrine or anything regarding voodoo, like, we don't even go near that person's street. It's almost like a gang. Like, I'm not coming around your block type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And that's how we West Africans kind of look at it, or Africans, I would say, when it comes to like voodoo and those things. Anything from your generation down to a baby that is newborn today, I don't want to even touch or see that baby. And that's only to protect myself. So that's how like we take it that seriously. So it's not to like say she doesn't want to be so much bothered with Nneka, but it's what she has put out, and so now I have to protect myself and my family's name, and I think that's just what Wendy is doing, and West Africans, we're gonna support her.
All right, Born to Win. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right, have a good day.
You too. All right, we're gonna bring up Judgy Justice. Judgy Justice, what are your thoughts?
So I liked the episode. I give it like a 7 out of 10. It wasn't the best, but I think we got a little bit more resolved and a little bit more moving past the storyline a little bit here. I don't blame Wendy for walking away from my neck and my back, a chiropractor's dream. Because this is the first time you're meeting me, and this is the first thing that comes out of your mouth. I would be very hurt, and I think you have to apologize. Even if my mother did it or not, you need to apologize because that doesn't have nothing to do with me. My mom's her own grown person. Take that beef with you and the auntie somewhere else. And then my other thing is that I wish Wendy would just say that her and her mom talked at all. Because there's like your mom hanging out of your house the way she does, kids. Your mom didn't say nothing to you about this. It's just very, very unbelievable. And then also, the DR is the place to be for men and women. I'll say that because I go to the DR, quite frequently, and people have their fun. So I'll just say that.
Oh, all right. We'll end on that note. Thanks, Judge Justice. Bye. All right. Amina, we're going to bring you up for a quick comment. What's going on, Amina? Amina, you're muted. All right, we're going to drop you. Chef Lorraine, we're going to bring you up for a quick comment. What's going on, Chef Lorraine?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I want to say, Kempire, I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on your second show.
Thank you.
Now you have to come to Charlotte. If you need some spots, I got you.
Okay.
And I just want to say this. I believe Nneka, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh.
You were saying something?
No. Go ahead.
I didn't want to cut you off, but I don't want to take up a whole bunch of time. But I just want to really say real quick, I believe Nneka broke down crying because she realized the severity of what she really done. And now she wants to, cry to the producers. And that's about it. I really don't have too much else to say because I'm waiting for you to do Married to Medicine.
Oh, okay.
I love you. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so
much. And I sent you a super chat, but I don't know what happened to it. But I know it went through because it said payment successful.
Oh.
Okay, and that's it.
I'm going to look. Thank you, Chef Lorraine. Take care.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Thank you to everyone that called in, guys, for our recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. If you are a part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know your thoughts. I know it's a very heavy conversation in so many different ways, but we have had it. And shout out to all of you that have called in. Podcast, be sure to, for those that are listening to this, give us a 5-star rating, and sharing is caring as well. Let me say thank you. Thank you, Joe, for another super chat. Joe says, wait, so can I get my cleaning man at the DR Villa? You know what? Probably. Look, probably. Let me just double check in regards to the super chats that were sent. For some reason, Chef Lorraine, it didn't come up on my system here. Sometimes that happens, but I apologize. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate your support, though. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate you all being here. Everyone have a great rest of your afternoon. I will see you in about an hour for our Married to Medicine recap. Bye, y'all. Ooh, you bring the lighter.